Your big day is about to happen. A wedding. It's special and it's the biggest event of your life. You want to capture that special day perfectly, and the right videographer can make all the difference. This is where Megapulse Media comes in. Megapulse Media is a professional wedding videography company located in Greenville, South Carolina. Owner Matt Jordan is a local who was born and raised in Greenville. He has years of professional experience working with weddings and events. He covers Greenville, South Carolina and the surrounding areas. When you visit megapulsemedia.com, you can see his portfolio and you will quickly understand Matt is the man you want for the job. He will make your wedding video extra special, fun, and romantic. Visit his website, megapulsemedia.com, for a free consultation or call Matt directly at 864-640-9355. 864-640-9355.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. And, man, we got a lot to talk about today. So the liberals have been putting pressure on him for a year, and they finally got him to do it. I'm talking about Stephen Breyer, Democrat, liberal Democrat, Supreme Court Justice. He's retiring. He was appointed by Bill Clinton, and he's 83 years old. And this guy's been on the bench since he was in his 40s, so he's done nothing but be a judge. I mean, how much – he didn't really practice law that much. I don't know what he did before he was on these courts, but – they've been wanting to get rid of him, the wokesters, because even though he's liberal, appointed by a liberal, he's not liberal enough, and they're expecting to lose control of the Senate with the red wave this year. So this is their chance to plug someone in. But this is what I believe is going on, and this is not new original thinking. There's been talk of this going on for several months. I believe they have pushed Stephen Breyer out to bring in Kamala Harris on the Supreme Court. They want Kamala Harris out of that vice presidential position. They don't want her running in 2024.
I think she's not
electable.
God help us.
And this is a very historical thing, actually, in that position, because she's going right from the vice presidency to the Supreme Court. Now, if she doesn't get confirmed, if she doesn't make it through the confirmation process, she's still vice president. So it might be a little embarrassing, a little humiliating, but she would not have to resign the vice presidency to go through that. She would only have to resign the vice presidency after she was confirmed before she was sworn in, because you can only hold one federal office at a time.
Right.
So she's not risking anything other than the possible embarrassment of not being confirmed.
I don't think she cares what anybody thinks at all.
You don't think she's like an insecure person?
I think she's very insecure, but I think she's the kind of person that, I mean, clearly because she's getting a lot of bad media and a lot of bad ratings and all this stuff, and she hasn't changed
but Joe Biden
anything
loves
about
her.
herself.
He said he professed his love for her the other day.
That's an interesting theory. I think it's possible that they are making the move to do this. I read an article that he's promised to appoint a black woman, because he appoints people based on race and gender rather than
and
qualifications.
Genitalia, what genitals they have.
Yeah. So that would fit right in with her. And I know she's biracial, but still. So, that's a good theory that they might go with it. So we'll see what happens. It should all happen. He's retiring when? After this session?
There's not an exact date, but I imagine. Yeah. It is so ridiculous how these Democrats operate. Okay, we have a vacancy coming up on the Supreme Court. It's going to be a one-legged Asian, African-American, cisgendered, gay. I mean, they got these weird, like, they got to mark off these boxes, check off these boxes. They just can't, like, appoint someone that they think is going to be, very good at the job.
Yeah.
So I really do. I know a lot of people will say, oh, that's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. I don't think so. They want to get rid of Kamala bad. She's a loser and they're in trouble. And this is an opportunity to give her something that she very well would take. Remember, she is a lawyer. She was the attorney general.
No, I think she would take it for
California.
Sure. And I think she should.
And I think she has a lot of regret for leaving the cushy lifetime Senate job for the vice presidency, which is the vice presidency is a road to nowhere for most people. I know there were some exceptions, like this senile old coot we got going up there now, but vice presidents typically do not become presidents.
Right.
Some of them do, but most of them don't, and they're forgotten.
I think it would be smart for her to take that position if it was offered to her, because I don't think she's going anywhere. She's never going to be president. Never going to happen.
No.
I think politically, once Joe Biden's done, she's done. Once he's out, she's out. She's not going to go any further than that. So I think if they offer it to her, she'll take it. She should take it. But I don't think she will get along with the other justices at all. I don't think she's a nice person. She's nasty. Even the liberals, I don't think she'll get along with. And I think if she is on the court, she would tie up all their time and never shut up, ask a million questions, and just make it all about her. I mean, I don't think she would be somebody that they would like or get along with, to be honest. I don't think anybody, clearly her whole staff leaves. And those are like people that love liberals and love her and Biden, and they can't even stand her.
Well, if she gets put on the Supreme Court, she's going to have something to prove. She's going to have to prove, because she's a big shot, because she's vice president. And, I really would enjoy this a lot, because I think the chances of her getting confirmed are not a sure thing. The Senate's a 50-50 Senate. She can't do a tiebreaker on herself. And so they're in trouble with that. And she's got a checkered legal past. If you remember, in the first presidential debate for the Democrats, she came in and humiliated Joe Biden with his very truthful background of being a racist segregationist who was mentored by racist segregationists and Klansmen. So in the second debate, they came in to destroy her, and they brought in, what's her name, from Hawaii, the one with the
Tulsi
acne
Gabbard.
scars. Yes, Tulsi Gabbard came in and just wiped the floor clean with Kamala. And Tulsi Gabbard brought up a case which was mentioned that night, and the next day it was talked about, then it disappeared. But she had talked about her withholding evidence in a death penalty case that she was prosecuting, if you guys remember that.
Crazy.
And she's got a very checkered legal past.
The question
and I would love that stuff to come up to humiliate her during a confirmation hearing.
Well, it might. The question is, who would he choose to replace her? If this happens, this is all big if. This is political fantasy football. If this happened, who would he get? I would say
one of two people.
One of two.
Okay, now
Clinton or Pelosi.
Oh, okay. No, those were my two.
That's who I think.
My two were Hillary Clinton,
definitely,
or Mayor Pete.
Oh God.
No, I'm serious. I'm serious, because if you remember,
Mayor Pete would be a bad decision.
A few weeks back, they let him have a press conference at the podium to practice being president. Remember that a few weeks ago? Yeah,
I don't think he'd pick him. Do you think he gets along with Hillary? Are they even friendly? I know that she was a senator. I've really never seen them together, but maybe they're friends. But I think he's going to pick her.
Yeah,
I really do. I think he's going to choose her.
I could see Hillary.
Yeah, and I think that's
But that's another thing, okay? Because this is very exciting. Okay, this is a very exciting thing, and I'll tell you. I know the thought of having Willie Brown's girlfriend on the Supreme Court of the United States for the next 30 years is not something that was fun. I understand. But here's the thing.
Help us all.
Okay. The process would be exciting. Kamala Harris, with her checkered past of putting people in jail and hiding evidence and all this stuff, putting people in jail for political gain for herself, there'll be lots of stories that would come up.
Like they did with Brett Kavanaugh. Are they going to bring up her past too?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So then whoever Biden, if she gets on the court, whoever Biden picks to be vice president, he doesn't just get to say you're vice president. They go through a confirmation hearing in the House of Representatives. It goes through the House of Representatives.
So does she vote on herself?
Hillary? Well, she's not in the House.
No, Kamala.
No.
Oh, this is for vice president.
The vice president goes through a confirmation hearing of sorts.
Oh, yeah.
In the House, and if it's Hillary Clinton, could you imagine? And here's the thing.
Gosh.
Here's the thing. Okay, this whole process would take months. What would happen? The Republicans would do everything in their power to prolong that process to try to get us to the election, even though the Democrats would be pushing.
That's true. The election's in November,
and if we could hold off on the confirmation process, okay. for the vice president, the replacement for Kamala, and the Republicans are. I would even if Pelosi were able to put together the whole process for Hillary to go through the vice presidential nomination process, the Republicans get to ask questions during the hearing. It would be brutal for Hillary Clinton. It would be brutal.
Yeah,
because first off, we know what they're doing. They're setting her up to run against President Trump in 2024.
Right.
And it would be like no holds barred. They would be bringing things up like you wouldn't believe. It would be not good for the country for her to become vice president and president. Not good for the country for Kamala to become.
None of these people are good for the country. I mean,
Supreme Court justice. But
they're all awful.
No, but these confirmation processes would be so exciting. It would get so dirty and nasty.
Well, let's see what happens.
I would love
find
it.
out soon. I'm not sure. I'd like to know when exactly he is officially retiring. I would think very soon because, like you said, they need time. They're going to want to get somebody confirmed before November.
Yeah.
To make it easier for them.
They got to get it done before the election.
Yeah, they got to get that done. I think, I agree with you. I predict that he's going to appoint Kamala. It's been mentioned in a few articles, so it didn't come from us. We're just agreeing with other people, have been speculating.
People have been speculating about this for months.
They have. I mean, like I said, we're not the only ones speculating on this, and they've been mentioning this and throwing it out there. And I think she would be smart to take this position if it was offered to her.
Yeah.
Because it's a lifetime thing.
Never has to worry again about anything.
It's a cushy job.
Set for life.
Oh, of course. Now they're saying on the news, sources say that he made the decision on his own. Well, that tells you that he didn't make the decision on his own.
The more they tell you that Stephen Breyer decided to retire, the more you know they forced him off. And, here's the thing. They've been talking about him retiring since Biden, took the oath of office. Supreme Court justices, they don't do anything. They just sit there and listen. If they don't want to do anything, they don't have to. Their clerks write all the opinions. It's
a very powerful position.
And it's the easiest job in the world because you have to do nothing.
Well, I'm just glad
unless you want to.
No Republican is retiring.
Oh.
And so at least we'll still have the court in our favor.
It doesn't change anything on the balance of the court.
Thank goodness.
But if it's not Kamala, he'll pick somebody who's like 26 years old, right out of Howard University or something, and they'll be there for 80 years. Now, this is just maybe he just doesn't care at this point, but I'm starting to think Howard Stern, he has really taken a turn. Howard Stern, okay, a couple days ago, Neil Young came out and was in the news, and I was very shocked, and I'm not joking with this. I was shocked that Neil Young is still alive.
Yeah.
Because I had not heard from Neil Young in many years, and is Neil Young still alive? I think he's very overrated. I've heard some of his music. It's before my time, of course. He was that Vietnam protest era. He's not even an American. He's a Canadian. So he's like this foreigner who's been protesting in our country forever. I don't, he may have become a U.S. citizen by now for tax purposes. I don't know. But Neil Young came out and had his management tell Spotify that it's either they pull Joe Rogan off Spotify or no more Neil Young music on Spotify. Well, I got to tell you, I don't think many people on Spotify are listening to Neil Young.
No.
I mean, I don't think it, no. He's
I don't think there's anybody that could make that threat that Spotify would get rid of Joe Rogan.
You'd have to be relevant and have music that people
I don't even think if Paul
to.
McCartney did it, they would do it. And he's huge. The Beatles or whatever, whoever owns the Beatles music. I don't think, maybe he's hoping other artists will jump on, but they're not going to do that.
No, nobody cares about
There's too much money to be made, and Spotify is too important.
Yeah.
To their careers, but Howard Stern.
Well, Howard Stern came out. He sided with Neil Young,
of course,
and
he's
said
jealous of Joe Rogan.
Yeah, and Howard Stern said that Spotify should take action against Joe Rogan for his position. And this is the thing with Howard Stern. Howard Stern made his way fighting the government, fighting government regulation, doing things on broadcast radio that were vulgar. Fighting the FCC all these years, and now he's like an old lady who is part of the establishment, part of the system now, and he's really gotten cowardly, very wimpy. He's gotten very
well. He's like an old man.
Well, he is an old man, and
That's how he's acting.
And I like Howard Stern, and I have a lot of respect for Howard Stern. I do, and as a broadcaster and everything, I really do. He did something that's amazing. Okay, his morning show in every market it was in, when it was on the regular radio, was number one, and he was going up against every radio morning drive FM legend in every market he was in, and he beat them all. And that's a pretty amazing feat. And he did it because he was fighting the system, fighting the establishment. Mm-hmm. And now he's like the hostage videos kind of thing. It's if you would have gone back in time to the 80s or 90s during all that fart man stuff, and you told him in 2022, and then you went through this, he would say, you're crazy. Now, I think what a lot of it has to do with is what you said, Kathy. I think Howard Stern is jealous of Joe Rogan.
That's what it all. That's what it all has to do with. He's very jealous.
Joe Rogan is, he's the most relevant person doing a talk show right now.
Well, Howard Stern. This is very typical. Howard Stern is very jealous, and he is trying to remain relevant by attacking the person he's jealous of.
Yes.
And this is a tactic a lot of people do. He probably doesn't realize it.
Yeah.
But he is trying to remain relevant by attacking Joe Rogan, who he's very jealous of. He's younger. He's more popular. His career is just taking off, and Howard's is kind of waning, and he's getting old. And he's extremely jealous, and nobody really, he's no longer that radio voice of record that he used to be. And people are talking about Joe Rogan. It's driving him nuts. He would never admit that he's jealous, but it's obvious. And to stay relevant, he's going to attack Joe Rogan, and piggyback off of his success.
That's exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, it's pathetic.
And Joe Rogan, even though he's involved in this political issue right now, he does something very similar to what Howard Stern does. He does a lot of celebrity interviews. Mm-hmm. And I do, I don't listen to Joe Rogan often, but I do watch on YouTube when he does celebrity interviews with people from time to time. Mm-hmm. And he does do pretty good interviews, and I do enjoy his interviews most of the time with celebrities, Joe Rogan. The only criticism I would have of Joe Rogan is this studio he moved to in Texas looks like the decoration, it looks like a Chinese restaurant. If you look at the decorations, the color scheme and everywhere it's set up, bless you, Kathy.
Excuse me.
It looks like a Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, it's weird. It's really small.
And the way that he sits is not complimentary to him for the camera angle. His old studio was perfect, and this new studio, the Chinese restaurant studio, I don't like. But that's just an aesthetic with the studio. I think Joe Rogan's very good. I like Joe Rogan. And this thing about jealousy, I see this even still today with people. I was talking to someone the other day that's a radio talk show host, and we were talking about something another, and immediately they start talking trash about another radio talk show host. I'm not going to tell you the names of these people. And this petty bickering that goes on, and I'm just not that way. I like having lots of radio shows and lots of podcasts because it helps all radio shows. It helps all podcasts. I've never been that way. And this petty bickering, that's why, Steve Kane and I have worked together for almost 30 years. And Steve and I, we get along very well. We don't argue. We don't fight or anything else. And it's because people find this hard to believe, but there's just no ego, problems with us. You
guys get along well.
We get along very well. And people in broadcasting are always this way. I remember when Glenn Beck became big, and when he did his thing at the Washington Mall at the Lincoln Memorial, and people were like, "Oh, Rush." I never had a sense that Rush was jealous of Glenn Beck, and Glenn Beck kind of fizzled out a little bit. He's never really recovered from his Never Trumper
I never got
stuff.
the feeling that Rush was ever jealous of anybody. Maybe that's because he was always at the top, but I never felt like he was threatened by anybody, or I think he was really comfortable in where he was, and he just never really
that's right.
thought about that in those terms. But Howard is clearly extremely
it's driving
jealous.
him nuts.
It's driving him crazy. Plus, I think there's a big fear factor with him. I think he's probably highly paranoid and extremely anxious about this vaccine and this COVID. And I think it's really driven him over the edge. I think he's terrified of getting sick.
Yeah.
Even though I'm sure he's vaxxed and all that, he says he is. But I think he probably rarely leaves his apartment now and probably rarely sees friends. I think this is filtered into his life, and he's become really crazy about it in a way, and it's really affecting his
scared.
Life. And I think his anxiety is playing a part. They're talking about real quick about the Joe Biden thing. If he does not appoint Kamala, say he doesn't, because we don't know for sure. If he does not appoint her, I think it's a huge mistake. I think it's a missed opportunity to move her along and get rid of her. She's clearly a problem for him, even though he's a problem for her. They're both a problem. Nobody likes her. And I think if he does not take this opportunity to move her along into some other position and put in somebody else, I think it's a missed opportunity for him, and it's a mistake.
You know what? Even if he does not appoint Kamala, it doesn't mean that that's not their plan right now. It means it didn't work out for whatever reason. Now, listen.
Maybe she said she wouldn't do it.
We're going to take a quick break. Now, this is an important break because we're going to have a little news in this break. Christine, she's always in our chat room on YouTube. She's one of our Patreon supporters, and she called me on the radio this morning talking about her MyPillow towel set. And I took Christine's call about her MyPillow towels and turned it into a commercial, which is going to make its debut in this break. All right? We'll take our break and be back right after this. Don't go anywhere. I love my MyPillow towels. Unlike other towels, the MyPillow towel absorbs. They're soft to the touch. They come with a 10-year warranty, a 60-day money-back guarantee. Mike Lindell says towels that actually work. What a concept. But don't just take my word for it. Christine from Pennsylvania called live on the radio and shared her experience with her MyPillow towels.
I was just going to say, I bought the MyPillow, my towels, a couple weeks ago, and they are fabulous. They are the best towels I've ever used. They're just the right amount of thickness. They're not too thin, they're not too thick, and they're a great length. They're like longer than your average towel, and they are fabulous, luxurious.
What's amazing to me about the MyPillow towels, Mike Lindell's a genius with his inventions. It absorbs the water, and the towel's not soaking wet after.
Yes, exactly.
Other towels, the water just kind of lays on top of them. They don't absorb it, and you're just smothering water, smearing it around on your body. Now with the MyPillow towels. What color did you get?
I got the sage green.
Ooh,
but
yeah.
I'm going to order more because I love purple, and I'm going to have to get a purple.
Man, my wife's ordering the purple, too. And she says it doesn't match our bathrooms, but she likes the purple anyway, so we're getting purple.
Who cares?
Exactly. Exactly. All right, Christine, thank you so much. The MyPillow towels are normally $109.99, but with our promo code at checkout, Kane, Kane, just $39.99. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. 1-800-716-4879, promo code Kane. From author Randy Smith comes the book, The Raffle, available on Amazon. In The Raffle, it's May 2027. The United States is now the new United States, a security-obsessed, isolationist state policed by human robots. After over a decade of living in post-apocalyptic, prison-like Los Angeles, a man plays the raffle to gain entry into the new United States. He hopes to reunite with his wife and daughter, who flew east before the fateful attack on LA on July 4th, 2016. But when security is emphasized over freedom, what will navigating the new United States entail if he wins? If you love science fiction and thrillers like Squid Game, Mr. Robot, and classic dystopian films like The Hunger Games, The Running Man, and Blade Runner, The Raffle from author Randy Smith is the epic book you've been searching for. Don't miss being one of the first to read the recently released second edition of the soon-to-be dystopian cyberpunk sci-fi cult classic today, so you can spread the word to your social media and inner circle. The Raffle from author Randy Smith. Download or purchase today exclusively on Amazon.com. There's a new children's book that's climbing the charts, Learning the Waves by Riley and Ricky, from author Sherry Young. Illustrations by Natasha Rimez, available on Amazon. Riley and Ricky have become the best of friends. Riley's a dolphin who knows the ocean well. Riley lights up in color to let Ricky know she could be in danger, and it helps Ricky learn how to be safe in the waves. Come along with Riley and Ricky in Book 1 and see how you can also stay safe in the waves. This is a must-have when you're heading to the beach. Learning the Waves by Riley and Ricky
is a colorful picture book that's a great way to communicate about beach trips with your child. Children will learn about safety flags on the beach and what each one means. It teaches basic do's and don'ts about safety in the ocean and much, much more. Children should never go in the water without an adult, and watch how Riley helps Ricky understand that. Learning the Waves by Riley and Ricky is available on Amazon. If you have a beach rental property, this would be a great read for your renters. Go to Amazon and order your copy right now. This is a must-have for all beach trips. Your children will love getting to know the cute and adorable characters Riley and Ricky. Learning the Waves by Riley and Ricky from author Sherry Young. Order your copy on Amazon.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks so much for tuning in, and make sure that you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to us on, all right? I think Christine did a very, very good job in her first commercial.
Absolutely.
Sounds good, right?
And those towels are amazing.
They absolutely are.
They really, we're not just blowing smoke. They are the best towels you will ever have. So she is right about that.
No doubt about that. Well, let me get to my audio sound bites here. This first one is Tommi Lahren, and she said something stupid today on Fox. This was after Breyer announced, and they immediately, it came out of the White House that they're going to appoint a black woman.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Kamala.
Yeah, Tommi Lahren. I know a lot of people, by the way, I know we're going to leave comments, right, on YouTube. They're going to say she's not black. She's biracial, okay? She is black and Indian. She's biracial, and
she's half Jamaican.
That makes her black.
Right.
And what Kamala tends to do is be public about whichever one of her minority classes particularly benefits her. Like when she got elected to the Senate, she was like the first Indian American something. I don't know. And, so she's whatever she's got to be, right, to make it. But anyway, Tommi Lahren, she was on Fox right after the Breyer announcement, and then they said it's going to be a black woman, and then Tommi Lahren just said something stupid. Listen.
Yeah, it doesn't change the ideological makeup, but we know that what Joe Biden does best is placate to the radical element and the radical progressive base of his party that he believes is the majority. I believe he's incorrect in that. I believe that they're actually the minority. But I'm wondering the kind of justice that he would nominate. Now, again, I'm sure it will be, as Guy said, a black woman. He's got a dedication to that. We saw how well that worked out with Kamala Harris. But
okay, he's going to nominate a black woman. We saw how well that worked out with Kamala Harris. Now, I'm not saying Tommi Lahren's racist, okay? I'm just saying she's stupid.
I don't know what she said that was stupid there.
He pointed a black woman. That didn't work out well last time.
Well, it didn't.
But to say it that way, it's blowing up all over Twitter. And
she's right, though.
She has one or two... Well, this is the thing.
The point she's making is
I understand.
He's appointing people based on their race and gender instead of qualifications.
I'm not disagreeing.
And nobody likes Kamala.
I'm not disagreeing with that, but this is what you got to understand, okay? When you are a conservative, okay, and you're like her on national television, you are always being watched. Within 3 minutes of that,
so
it was all over Twitter.
Yeah,
so,
she loves it.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that because if you go through what people are saying on Twitter,
she said nothing wrong.
She's got the cancel culture people after her now, and I could be wrong about this. I think they're trying to push Tommi Lahren out of Fox, and I'll tell you why I say this. I've noticed they've been having Tommi Lahren on. They have a live show like at 4 a.m, and I've noticed they've had her on as a guest a few times.
Yeah,
at
and then
4 a.m.
she was hosting some show Saturday with a panel. They got her all over the place.
They got her in weird things. They're not having Tommi Lahren when she first was on Fox was like, oh, Tommi Lahren's here. She was like Lawrence Jones, like Tommi Lahren. Now they're putting her on in these strange spots, 4 a.m, 4:35 in the morning, things like this.
She's like a filler. She's like a seat filler.
Yeah, and they just need a little bit of an excuse to get rid of her. Okay, and Tommi
I don't think
Lahren,
that's anything big a deal.
Tommi Lahren, I'm telling you now. I won't miss Tommi Lahren too much if she leaves.
And
Fox.
I don't even like her, but I don't think she said anything wrong. And who cares if cancel culture gets a little, who cares if the Twitterverse gets upset? They're upset over everything. Everything bothers them.
Well, that's
everything
true.
upsets them. They're a bunch of snowflakes. They can't handle
That
anything.
is true.
The minute somebody says something they don't like, that they go after them, they attack them, they want them fired. It's ridiculous.
Don't be surprised if you get an apology, or what do they call it? A walking back from Tommi Lahren.
Yeah,
on
you
this,
probably
okay?
will.
Because the way
I would not be surprised at all.
She didn't articulate that well. She didn't say, what you said, Kathy. She didn't say, well, Joe Biden is picking people by checking off boxes, right? Mm-hmm. Minority woman vice president, she's failed. Gay cabinet member, Mayor Pete, supply chain, he's failed. You've got to pick people that are qualified and competent, not based on that, because that hasn't been working out. What she said he said he's going to pick a black woman. It didn't work out well last time, did it? With Kamala, the way she said it wasn't sophisticated enough. She should be
disagree on this.
She should be a little more, clear in her thought. Maybe she was being clear.
I think she was extremely clear.
Yeah.
Well, we'll agree to disagree on that. I don't think she said anything wrong. I think she said it perfectly.
She didn't articulate it very well.
I don't agree with that. And who cares what the cancel culture thinks? They're a bunch of whiny babies anyway.
I'm just telling you.
And I don't even like Tommi Lahren, but she's
I'm not
spot on what she said.
I'm not a big fan of hers.
Nobody likes Kamala. He chose her because of her race and gender. That's it. Everybody knows it. And she's been a disaster, so much so that they're talking about, there's articles that they're going to shift her to the Supreme Court because she's such a train wreck for them. I mean, he's going to blame his poor numbers on her. And people rationalize things, right? When they're faced with something they can't handle, they start rationalizing it. And in his mind, I believe he is rationalizing his low poll numbers with her. And he figures if I get somebody in there like Hillary or Elizabeth Warren or somebody much more popular, my numbers will go up. It'll help me. Yeah. He thinks that she's dragging him down when it's really, they're both kind of hurting each other. They both suck.
Biden and Kamala, neither of them have a redeeming quality.
No,
between
not
the
at
two
all.
Of them.
They're both a disaster.
No. Now, what's going on in Virginia with Governor Youngkin's absolutely amazing. And
he's like DeSantis.
I told you guys, he's going to be like the top target of the Democrats because all the people that live in Washington, the majority of them live in Northern Virginia. And so Youngkin is their governor. And it's amazing to me.
And they're powerful people too.
Yeah, how upset they are already. He's been governor like 5 minutes, but he's done some bold things. He's setting up a tip line where children and parents can report their teachers if they start doing critical race theory and other things.
It's okay for the liberals to have kids reporting their parents if they do something in the house or say something. That's okay for the liberals. But whenever you turn the tables on them and give them a taste of their own medicine, they completely lose their mind.
Yeah, the Democrats had pediatricians privately asking children during exams how many guns their parents have at home and where they're at. That's okay.
Yeah, it happened to us.
That's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jim Acosta, who you haven't heard from in a while, because he's kind of irrelevant now, he's very upset at Youngkin. And he said something about Governor Youngkin from Virginia. Listen.
Virginia's new governor is asking neighbors to turn in other neighbors, not for criminal activity. No, it all stems from the GOP's latest culture war obsession. In office less than 2 weeks, and Governor Glenn Youngkin has already set up an email tip line for parents to report teachers for teaching, quote, divisive subjects. He spoke specifically about his concerns over race and history.
We're going to get critical race theory and other inherently divisive teaching practices out of the schools.
And this tactic of pitting citizen against citizen is not just happening in Virginia. Recall the anti-abortion law in Texas that the Supreme Court has allowed to remain in effect. It allows anyone to sue another person for helping someone seek an abortion in the state. In fact, it seems Republican leaders have gone all in on dividing the country in many ways. Molly, I seem to remember Glenn Youngkin campaigning in a fleece vest in Virginia. He was running as a different kind of Republican. I was told there was going to be a vest. Not a Soviet-style police state across the Potomac from Washington.
So Acosta's all upset about Youngkin, who's done nothing. The last governor of Virginia, if you remember, was in that photograph where he was either in complete blackface or in a Klansman outfit. That didn't bother Jim Acosta or any of these other Washington Democrats. But Youngkin, who, by the way, has a black lieutenant governor,
She's fantastic.
But he's the Klansman blackface governor. They didn't bother Acosta, but Youngkin, Soviet style. And since when does
that
CNN?
Is so absurd.
When does CNN think the Soviet Union style of things is the wrong way to be?
They're all in with it.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know what he's talking about. Now this.
Well, we have an update real quick right here on something we were talking about.
Yeah, Neil's Young music is going to be removed from Spotify.
That's right.
I wish that they would tell us prior to being in the news this week how many people have listened on Spotify to Neil Young music, because I just don't think he's good.
This just came out now.
Yeah.
So his music will be removed from Spotify over the Joe Rogan dispute. So I think this will squash any other musicians who try to pull the same nonsense.
It was Rogan or me.
Did he really think that they were gonna? I don't know what
he thinks he's a big deal,
or maybe it was just maybe he was
publicity
just
stunt.
Who knows?
People have not rushed out to get Neil Young music since there were record stores.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's true.
Come on. Give me a break. Now, Tiffany Cross over on MSNBC said something this week that is so far over the line that this comment that she made, she should be taken off the air for it, what she said.
Yeah.
So let me play, then we'll talk about this. Tiffany Cross, she replaced Joy Reid on the weekend show when they put Joy Reid on during the week. And of course she's big in the, she's racist.
Yeah.
Tiffany Cross.
Yeah.
Right?
Two wonderful ladies.
And she's really, this is bad. Listen to this.
But this is a war. This isn't a battle. And we absolutely will win this war.
It is a war. It is indeed a war. And I have to say, they have won some battles, Jasmine, but we have to keep our eye on the war, and everybody needs to pick up a weapon. And
everybody needs to pick up a weapon. This is a war. This is NBC News.
Crazy.
If Tim Russert were still around, that kind of thing would not be tolerated. He used to run MSNBC when it was new, and it was good back then. And the way she was talking there is so over the line. That kind of stuff gets you taken off the air.
Yeah, I mean, she should be fired for that. I'm sorry.
That's really bad.
But I don't know what's going on over there at MSNBC. Her and Joy Reid, they're definitely stoking those flames. It's very dangerous rhetoric, but I don't know how many people listen to them or watch their shows.
This is the thing, okay? When you're broadcasting,
I mean, not that should matter.
When you're broadcasting or public speaking or even yelling down the street or at the shopping mall, you cannot incite violence.
No.
And we had this Christmas parade massacre after the Rittenhouse acquittal, the victory in that case. And many people believe that Joy Reid instigated that guy to do what it is that he did. Instigated that violence, that people were murdered. That guy's murdered a lot of people, injured others. And what Tiffany Cross said there could easily be interpreted as the incitement of violence, and it is very over the line. In fact, this is one of the most outrageous things I've ever heard someone say on one of the major news outlets when it involves that. They got rid of that Martin Bashir years ago when he made that very strange comment about Sarah Palin.
Yeah.
You guys can look that up online. I'm not even going to tell you what it is, the Darby treatment.
Well,
Remember
I saw a documentary on Princess Diana. He got famous for interviewing Princess Diana, and I saw that they did a documentary about that whole thing on HBO or something a few years ago. And he is not a nice man, and apparently he really lied and manipulated her to get that interview and told her things that weren't true. And they interviewed her butler and people that were working with her. And to get that interview, he, didn't get it by, that's how it is, I guess, to get ahead. But he was very nasty. And when he got taken off the air for what he said about Sarah Palin, I was not surprised at all. But, he is not a black woman. And these two women are protected by the woke liberals. And I don't think they're ever going to, I know we've heard all these things about Joy Reid losing her job. We've heard a lot of rumors, credible people. Maybe they're talking about it, but, until they actually do it, who knows? And you really think she's the kind of woman that would go quietly? Mm-hmm. No, I don't think so.
Way.
I think she's the kind of woman that if she got let go, she would be very nasty about it and probably expose a lot of things and maybe even make stuff up. to make NBC look very bad. I don't think she would go
be
quietly
surprised
at all.
Now, I want to thank our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. And, if you would like to become a Patreon supporter and support the show, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. There's a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. And there are perks and benefits to becoming a Patreon supporter. At some Patreon levels, there's merch that we send out, swag to people. Our top Patreon supporters you hear in a moment get a live on-air thank you. And all Patreon supporters get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode, on top of the fact that you have the satisfaction that you're helping support this program with Kathy and myself. Our top Patreon supporters, as I said, get a live on-air thank you on each and every episode. I want to thank Andrew and Connie, Christine, who's in our new MyPillow commercial, Gary, ETW, D, Pamela, Chuck, Jacqueline, Rich, Rick, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you so much, everyone, for your support. I want to play one last soundbite before we go. What's going on over in the Ukraine is the beginning of a disaster. I was just talking to Steve Kane right before the show. His son is a tank commander.
Oh, yeah.
And he's on standby now. And let me tell you, it's wintertime. No army has done well against Russia in the winter. Napoleon, Hitler, this is not a good time to go over there. And it's all bad. And there's going to be a lot of bad things because we have incompetent people running the government. But I want to play this. This was the State Department about U.S. citizens in Ukraine.
We do not have an account that we consider to be accurate of the number of Americans, private Americans, who are resident in Ukraine.
Okay. They left hundreds, maybe thousands of Americans behind in Afghanistan. We don't know how many American hostages are in Afghanistan today. That's not even the news anymore. And now we're talking about Americans. They don't know how many are in the Ukraine and what will become of them as tensions get worse. We've had good presidents, bad presidents, great presidents, and Donald Trump. We've never had someone that was this incompetent and corrupt at the same time.
Right.
I mean, this is really a scary, scary situation we're in Ukraine, just like Afghanistan. And it's not going to turn out well because nothing Joe Biden gets involved in turns out well.
No, I think a lot of these things were decided before he was even in the White House.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of this has just been decided off the cuff.
No.
I think these are things that have been in the works. And I think Putin was just looking for the right stooge.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he's been wanting to do this for a long time. There's other presidents he wouldn't be as successful under. And now the right person is in there and he can get done what he's been wanting to get done for a long time.
And he's doing it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. I know it's very frightening. It is scary.
He needed somebody to help him along and to get out of his way. And, they're going to outwardly make it look like they're doing something, but they're really not. I mean, he's obviously, easily bought and paid for and do whatever these countries want for the right price.
Well, he's working an angle.
Yeah, always. Always.
What the exact angle is, we don't know yet, but I just know no good is going to come out of this.
It's an anti-American angle, I'll tell you that.
It's just about getting money.
No matter what, anti-American angle.
It's everything Joe does to get paid.
Yes.
That's it. Well, listen, we're all out of time, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for listening, everyone, and we will talk to you next time.
Do you feel like the inability to learn new concepts and a poor memory are holding you back from staying ahead of the competition? How would you like to be more focused and more attentive? You can do all that and more with the book Fast Learner Blueprint, How to Master Any Skill Faster. Available online at zynko.sellfy.store. That's zynko.sellfy.store. With this must-read book, you will learn to master new skills faster, retain information further, further, longer, and be able to apply it. We live in an insanely fast-paced world with new technologies released daily. Many sectors are advancing at such a high speed, it makes it easy to lag and miss out on new and exciting opportunities. This is why being a fast learner is highly advantageous. When you read Fast Learner Blueprint, How to Master Any Skill Faster, you will discover why it's so challenging to learn a new skill, why the 10,000-hour rule of mastering new skills is an illusion, the difference between soft skills and hard skills, and why you need to master both. 9 tips to help you become a fast and efficient learner, and so much more. What are you waiting for? Take that first step to living the life that you want to live and order your copy of Fast Learner Blueprint, How to Master Any Skill Faster, online at zynko.sellfy.store, zynko.sellfy.store.